Installed Ubuntu 22.04 and don't know what to do or where to start or what kind of things to be done after Ubuntu installation, then this video will guide you through the things you must do after installing Ubuntu 22.04 JAMMY Jellyfish. Hey, what's up guys, my name is KS Kiral. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the top 22 things you must do after installing Ubuntu 22.04, which include tweaking the system and user interface, installing useful applications or packages, speeding up the performance, enhancing the desktop experience, and more. Make sure to watch this video till to the end if you find this video useful and help me to get at least 500 likes. And if you like my video, and don't forget to subscribe to see more videos like this. Now, without wasting any time, let's get into the video. The first thing to do after installing Ubuntu 22.04 is to update the system. Just go ahead and open the terminal by right-clicking on the desktop. Now type this command, which is going to fetch the latest package information from the sources and upgrade all the packages. Now, this will include the security patches, software updates, and more. Once it's done updating the system, go ahead and restart your computer to effect these changes. Firefox is one of the best web browsers out there, which comes pre-installed in Ubuntu 22.04. By default, Firefox is installed as a part of the Snap package. I detest using Snaps, which is extremely slow, and the browsing experience of Firefox is not that great compared to Chrome. I recommend you to use Google Chrome for best browsing experience. You can download the Debian package of Chrome from the internet and double-click on it to install Google Chrome. Also, you can use Google Chromium, which is a Google Chrome without the Google branding and built-in spyware. Ever since Ubuntu started shipping with Gnome as a default desktop, it allows tweaking Gnome desktop using the Tweaks application. It's not installed by default and you can install it by running this command. Also, you can type this command to add support for shell extensions, which can be installed directly from the web browser. Once it's done, inside the app drawer, you get to see the Tweaks application. Just go ahead and open it. The Extensions tab is now removed from the Tweaks and installed as a separate application. Using the Gnome Tweaks, you can change the themes and fonts, control the behavior of title bar buttons, and more. Apart from that, the Extensions application is the place where you can see all of the extensions, which is a piece of software that can be used to tweak the system. To install Gnome extensions, head over to this website. The first extension which I recommend is to look for user themes. Now, this extension is going to help install custom themes. To theme your Ubuntu desktop, open the file browser and head over to the home directory and create two directories named Themes and Icons. Then head over to this website and download themes or icon packs and extract them to the corresponding folder. Now open Tweaks, choose the appearance and look for the shell, and here you can see the install themes over here. Now this will change the look of the Gnome desktop. This way you can change the look of the icons and legacy applications. Apart from that, you can also add a blur effect to the overview menu by installing this extension. There are so many extensions available that help to tweak the desktop to the next level. Keep in mind that heavy customization may leave the system slower and unresponsive. There are the times you may end up facing many playback issues in terms of decoding video or audio. For example, the movie file in Ubuntu cannot be played by default. Likewise, only limited media codecs are pre-installed, which causes media playback issues. To fix the issue, open the terminal and run this command to install restricted media codecs. It's also recommended to install a VLC media player by running this command. This way you can almost play any video or audio without any issues. During installation, Ubuntu tries to install open source drivers which are needed for the system to work properly. But if you have a specific hardware module that is supported by your vendor, the proprietary drivers will be shown inside the updater application. Just go ahead, open the software updater and choose the additional drivers tab. Here it shows the available drivers. Now, as of now, Ubuntu 22.04 is recommending installing the NVIDIA proprietary drivers. By installing it, the system uses GPU for hardware acceleration and triple buffering that improves the overall graphical user experience. One of the first things you may notice on the Gnome desktop is the dock panel, which is present on the left side. This panel is highly customizable. Using dock settings, you can move the dock panel to the bottom or right, just like that. With Ubuntu 22.04, you get an option to turn off the panel mode. This way, the dock looks much cleaner and better. You can minimize the app to the dock by using the title bar buttons. For example, if you notice, I have opened the Files app and I can use title bar buttons to minimize the application to the dock. But if I click on the app icon on the dock while the app is open, it doesn't do anything. So open the terminal and run this command. This will enable minimizing of clicks for any application. Now I can open the app from the dock at the same time by pressing the icon while it's open. It triggers the minimize on click action. Ubuntu comes with a UFW firewall, which is disabled by default. You can check the status of the firewall by running this command. A firewall gives protection to your computer from network traffic. It also prevents malicious software from accessing a computer or a network via the internet. The default firewall can only be controlled through the command line. You can use the GUI version of UFW by running this command. UFW gives full control to enable or disable the ports. For example, if you are running an SSH server on port 22, you can disable this port to block the connection from a remote computer. Staying connected to various social media accounts and email service is necessary, and you would be happy to know that you can integrate all the popular accounts with Ubuntu. Head over to Settings, choose Online Accounts. Here we can sign into a few online accounts and integrate with the operating system. Data is one of the most important things you need to worry about. There are times in future you may lose the data from a system crash. Let's say you have installed a custom kernel and broke the system and end up facing a system crash that puts your data at risk. To avoid this kind of problem, it's always recommended to back up the data to the cloud like Google Drive or a local server. Using backups, you can create a backup. Right now, I set to back up the entire home folder except the downloads directory to the Google Drive. This will automatically back up the changes made to the home directory. With Ubuntu 22.04, you can enable the dark mode that applies to the whole system. From Gnome shell to apps, everything turns dark, which is easy to the eye during the night times. In addition to that, you can also use accent colors to make the desktop more colorful. Ubuntu offers 10 color shades to choose from. This time, changing the accent colors affects more than just the Yarrow theme. The accent color will be applied to the folders, icons, Gnome shell, and pretty much everywhere to compensate for the overall look of UI. By default, in Ubuntu 22.04, the Snap Store is deeply integrated with the default App Store that lets you download any application. Snap packages are the best, it solves a lot of headaches, but more than pros, it has many cons. Many users reported Snaps takes a lot of disk space, it won't match with the desktop theme, moreover it has a slower startup time. I recommend use FlatPak instead of Snap. By default, FlatPak is not installed on Ubuntu, you can install it by running this command. Once it's done, we're going to link the FlatPak command to the FlatHub repository to download FlatPak apps via the command line. You can also integrate the FlatPak plugin with Gnome, that way the default App Store can be used to install FlatPak applications very easily. Once it's done, restart the computer. The best way to install FlatPak applications, in my opinion, is by using the web browser. Head over to the FlatHub website where you can find a plethora of applications. Just search for an app you need, then copy the install command and paste it inside the terminal. It's that easy to install a FlatPak application in Linux. The default applications and packages you get in Ubuntu 22.04 are very limited. There are some applications you just need to install. For example, GIMP, a famous image editor, and OpenShot for video editing. Likewise, you can install apps like Discord, Telegram, Zoom, Skype, Blender, and many other apps. Just go ahead and install all these applications via the FlatHub that helps in kickstarting Ubuntu. If you're a Java developer, I encourage you to install a Java SDK by running this command. Apart from GUI, Linux is excellent when it comes to command line applications. NeoFetch is the must-have command to know the detailed information about your system, and HTOP is another command line tool which shows the system usage and helps in monitoring the system in real time. If you want the more terminal applications that must be installed in Ubuntu, watch my dedicated video, which I'll leave a link in the description. If you're a gamer, you must install Steam. Thanks to the Valve for adding support for Linux. Steam is a video game distributor and also a software client to provide automatic updates for their games. Using Steam, you can almost play heavy games like you used to do on Windows. Just go ahead and install the Steam by running this command. Once it's done, open it and set up a Steam environment. After that, log in with your Steam account or create a new one and download the game which is compatible with the Linux environment and start playing. In combination with Steam, you can also use OBS Studio, a perfect tool for streaming and screencasting the desktop. Preload is a daemon service that runs in the background. It analyzes the user behavior and tracks what applications are frequently running by the user. Based on this analysis, it predicts what applications the user might run next and fetches those binaries and the dependencies into memory and hence increasing the startup time of the applications. You can install the preload by running this command inside a terminal. This will speed up the app launch times. Live Patch enables Ubuntu users to apply critical kernel patches without rebooting. This also helps to keep your system secure by applying security updates without a system restart. It's free for personal use with up to 3 machines. To enable it, all you need is an Ubuntu One account. Go to the app drawer and search for software and updates and click on the Live Patch tab. If you have an Ubuntu One account, simply sign in, otherwise create one. This will open the web browser. Just go ahead and sign in with your Ubuntu One account. Once you have logged in, look for the token and copy it and paste it here to attach the computer to the Ubuntu One subscription. Keyboard shortcuts are one of the most useful things to use, which speed up the user experience. For example, pressing Ctrl+Alt+T opens up a terminal. This is the default shortcut to open a terminal in Ubuntu. Likewise, Ubuntu allows for creating shortcuts that indeed trigger this specific action. Head over to Settings, choose Keyboard, and select Keyboard Shortcuts. Using this section, you can map a shortcut key to do something. For now, I'm going to set a shortcut to open the home directory. For that, I'm going to assign a shortcut, Super+H. Now, if I press Super+H, it opens the file browser, and how cool was that? This way, you can set as many shortcuts as you want easily. Having system backup and restore points is necessary as it can save from losing important data if any glitch happens in the system. TimeShift is one of the tools available for Ubuntu that you can use to back up your system. It's an application that provides a functionality similar to the system restore feature in Windows and the Time Machine tool in Mac OS. Now let's say you're working on a software project or trying to install a custom kernel or doing some experiments on your system. This is where TimeShift comes into the picture. You can take a snapshot of the current session which includes all your installed packages, apps, and data. If you have switched from Windows to Ubuntu and looking for a way to run Windows apps, you can use bottles. Bottles introduce a new way to handle Windows binaries using runner environments. You can choose between a gaming and software environment based on the type of software you want to start. More advanced users can choose the custom environment to configure the bottle on their own. You can also customize your Windows environment with ease. Choose whether to use DXVK, game mode, eSync, FSync, or other. Bottles will handle it all for you. I ran Windows-specific applications like IDM, which is shortly known as Internet Download Manager, and Notepad++, and that worked very well without any issues. If you use your computer at night, you should use the nightlight feature to reduce eye strain. The nightlight feature adds a yellow tint to the screen, which is less pinching than the white light. You can enable nightlight in the settings, displays, and switch to nightlight tab. You can set the yellowness as per your liking. Also use fractional scaling to scale up the display. This could be extremely useful on the huge monitors. Some users on some specific hardware may notice a higher battery consumption rate on Linux than on Windows. This could be noticeable on the laptops. The easiest thing you can do right now to solve this problem on Ubuntu is simply installing TLP, which is a nice power management system working in the background to save battery power when possible. Just go ahead and run these commands one by one. Once it's done, reboot your system. It doesn't need any configuration. It will load the default configuration and save power on its own. When your computer is getting full, BleachBit quickly frees disk space. With BleachBit, you can free cache, delete cookies, logs, clear internet activity, shred temporary files, and discard junk you did not know was there. Now, beyond simply deleting files, BleachBit includes additional features such as shredding files to prevent recovery, wiping free disk space to hide traces of files deleted by other applications, and vacuuming Firefox to make it faster. Better than free, BleachBit is an open source. And that's pretty much it. These are the top 22 things you must do after installing Ubuntu 22.04. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching my video. This has been KSK Rao. I will catch you in my next one. Bye-bye.
I don't really know what comes next, I'm just doing like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out.